Well, as we move on to the final thing today, WWE had one of its big pay-per-views, Survivor Series at Petco Park, and we are going to talk about it briefly. I have a point to bring up near the end.
Yes, you do, because you're always talking about this.
Yeah, but Survivor Series, basically, last couple of years, Survivor Series has been home to War Games matches, which is essentially a massive 2-ring cage where opponents are split into teams of 5. You have one person from each team start the match together, then someone coming in, and I think the first intervals after 5 minutes, and then 2.5 or 3 minute intervals, another person from each team comes out one by one. Then when everyone's in the ring, they lock the cage and War Games begins. You can only win by pinfall or submission, and if you escape the cage, your team forfeits. So it kicked off the women's War Games where the face team, the good girl team, good guys team of Rhea Ripley, AJ Lee, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Io Sky defeated a team of Becky Lynch, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend. This one was slow to start, but built it up quite nicely near the end. But you know, it was great to see AJ Lee back in it, although she didn't do much apart from submit Becky Lynch to take the win. Rhea Ripley getting a massive pop as always. Charlotte Flair, I was quite impressed by her. Always forget how good she is. One of the best women.
Whether we like it or whether you like it or not, because I think she's been over pushed at times.
I think
at the
beginning of the year she had been, but I think she redeemed it with her tag run with Alexa Bliss. I think it was a brilliant pairing to make.
Yep.
After that, you had a match which a lot of people weren't too happy about, but I was actually quite happy watching it.
Yeah, I was
and that was
happy
John
about the
Cena
result too.
defending his Intercontinental title against the man he bet for it, Dominik Mysterio, in his last ever premium live event.
I said retain. I mean to
win it back.
To win it back. Dominik Mysterio
so
to win it
John
back.
Cena's last pay-per-view premium live event match. Saturday night's main event technically isn't a pay-per-view, and this was a match which I think a lot of people were complaining that John Cena's last match on pay-per-view just became a part of the Judgment Day lore and he did a job to the Judgment Day, but I think this match was good. John wrestled very well. Dominik's a very good wrestler. Yeah, he's clearly one of the best heels in WWE right now. He walks out with Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. They get involved. Dom does a brilliant job of faking a shoulder injury, and to the point where everyone thought he was out of the match, and then you see John Cena attacked in the ring by Roxanne and Raquel. And obviously John Cena can't face women in matches, but he can still put them over if he takes a finisher. Roxanne hit it with the pop rocks and all of that, and I think John probably wants to put over as many people as he can. I think a lot of people
I was about
to
say, I think that says more about who he is now.
Yeah.
Like I said to you, before we started this recording, Dominik Mysterio is going to be one of the biggest heels in the WWE.
He might turn face later, though.
But he's going to be one of the biggest wrestlers for at least from what's lining up to be the next 10 years at least.
Yeah.
So, John, like that to me made sense. Yeah. I actually really love they did that. And of course, the returning Liv Morgan.
Yes, but before Liv Morgan came out, the other members of the Judgment Day, JD McDonough and Finn Balor, they came in and tried to do some shenanigans. But I think it was still like John Cena almost overcoming, 6 people to win a
doing
belt,
a John
to retain
Cena
a
type
belt.
of thing,
Yeah, Super Cena type shit.
Super Cena.
But it very clearly is sport entertainment and not wrestling when you're watching WWE, and I know it turns a lot of people off. Like, it's like, you watch that, it's more sports entertainment. It's still wrestling, but it's definitely sports entertainment, the way it happens. And then Liv Morgan comes out unexpectedly. Everyone thinks she's turned on Dominik Mysterio, goes and embraces John Cena, but pulls a deadpan expression and ends up low-blowing him, helping Dominik regain his Intercontinental title. Liv Morgan's been out with a shoulder injury for a few months, so it was her coming back. But a lot of people were like, oh, how they sacrificed my GOAT. I was like, yeah, he's the greatest of all time, but he's retiring for a reason. He's almost 50. You see what? I think there are more things about his retirement tour this year which should be criticized in this match. I think the heel turn was a massive. It was a great idea, but it just feels like more and more that it was done.
It was not executed right.
It was done for a moment.
Yeah,
they did it for a moment, and they had no idea what to do afterwards because I don't know if they knew if The Rock was actually going to be involved. They didn't expect Travis Scott to be such a shit worker. And if he's not a wrestler, and clearly, I still think this match, I had fun watching it. Like, I didn't think, like, it doesn't have to be super, super serious. A lot of people were comparing it to Sting's retirement match last year, where he and Darby Allin, I think, won a tag match against, I forgot who it was, and I think he was, but that was definitely more of a wrestling match, although it did start off with Sting's actual sons coming out as older versions of him and actually being involved in the tag match at one stage.
That's kind of sick, though.
But that's kind of sick. But Sting's been around we've been wrestling
ages.
since the 80s and retired last year.
Yeah.
It's more of a, and that's, I'm not undermining John Cena at all. You know, he's carried WWE on his back for a while. But still one more match to go. I think a lot of people were just expecting John to win every single match, but that's not the goal of retirement tours most of the time.
And that's not what wrestling is either. Like
putting people over, people are going to remember Dominik Mysterio beating John Cena. Yes, he had help, but it's John's. Again, you know, you could play, oh, you made him lose. But it's like, yeah, but he had to fight off six other people, and he almost got it at the end. So I don't see...
Like I've, you know, wrestling is stories. Like it's creating a story. It's an art of the story in the ring.
It's how you create the story in the ring, though. Like you see some promotions where the storytelling's done by the actual wrestling itself.
Yes.
By the matches. If you want to watch, you know, wrestling matches which are told by the ring, you watch an All Japan match from the 90s. Like you watch a Masaru or a Kobashi fight, but WWE does it. The storylines are done, you know, through several weeks of television.
Yes,
through segments, through interference in matches, through that, and everyone has their preference, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's
which we'll talk about at the end.
We are going to talk about,
but we'll move on to the next one.
Yes.
Stephanie Vaquer. Did Nikki Bella challenge Stephanie Vaquer on the day? Or was it already set up?
No,
I can't remember.
Nikki Bella and her had teamed up, and then Nikki turned on her because she wanted a title shot.
Yeah, that's right.
This was a fine match. Like, there's, you know, it was a normal match. I think at times I forgot this was a world title match.
Yeah.
But you know, Stephanie Vaquer still leaning into being a champion. I think if you have her in a world title match on a pay-per-view against someone who's maybe higher up the card at the moment than Nikki Bella, then it will feel maybe a little bit more like a championship match. And I'm not criticizing
You've got to
Nikki
keep
Bella.
that momentum with Stephanie Vaquer rolling.
Exactly.
You know?
But Nikki Bella's a legend, and she's came off after several years not wrestling. Like, she's
and
had
looks
a kid.
fantastic.
Absolutely. And it's awesome that she's back in the ring.
Yeah.
And
also, Devil's Kiss on the announce table was a madness.
Oh, yeah. And it wasn't the only Devil's Kiss of the match as well. But yeah, I think it was a fine match to have on the card. I don't like the whole thing of having 4 or 5 match cards. Like, bring back when there was double as many matches. Like, I think it's probably a cost cutting thing, but come on, like, you can have more than 4 matches on a Survivor Series card, even if 2 matches take an hour each. And speaking of the last one, the men's War Games match, the heel team, which was Division's Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, with Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Mr. Lawsuit Brock Lesnar up against the face team of Jimmy and Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk. Now, this match definitely started off a lot quicker than the women's match. CM Punk came out first and was met by Bronson Reed. I think it was a really good pairing.
Yeah.
You know, we know how good all these wrestlers are. I've never really watched a lot of Brock Lesnar in the ring, I'll be completely honest, but I was... he did pull off some good spots. It was the first match he'd ever been involved in with another person, like in a team or a tag, since 2004 in WWE. I believe the last...
Did not know it was that long.
Apparently, after that, the last time he'd actually wrestled in some form of team capacity with anyone was in New Japan in 2005 or 2006 with Shinsuke Nakamura, which is a very funny stat to have.
That is quite hilarious.
But during this match, CM Punk was attacked by a mystery person who climbed into the ring, hit CM Punk with the stomp, and then went out, which is Seth Rollins' key move. But Seth Rollins, as we all know, has just had shoulder surgery. There's no way he's nailing that cage. And so it wasn't Seth Rollins. It is...
I still think it was. I'm not going to lie.
It's not Seth Rollins. It's the new member of Division. And in my opinion, it's Austin Theory. Austin Theory is back. He's joined, you know, obviously Grayson Waller's with the New Day. Austin Theory, I think a lot of people expecting him to come back as a face. Well, maybe he still comes out as a face, but he's attacked CM Punk. somewhat helping the vision.
Austin Theory is also a guy that has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
But we're yet to see that come to fruition.
I think it's because they didn't trust him at first. Before Triple H fully took over, he was seen as the next guy. He had an American title. I think the booking, because they tried to have him cash in on the US title at one stage with Money in the Bank. Like, why would you do that on the US title? But I think it's him. I think a lot of people, I think he was expected to be in this match, but for whatever reason, he wasn't. So I think this is the way they introduce him, whether we find out on Raw today when this comes out, if it is him or if it's later.
I guess we'll see what happens.
But I don't think it's Seth Rollins, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it'll be Chris Jericho." Jericho can't climb a cage like that anymore.
No.
Like, I expect Jericho will come back at the Rumble. They'll do the countdown and they'll play the old Y2J song because he's most likely leaving AEW near the end of the year, returning to WWE for one last run. Which I mean, he was only really in Ring of Honor with AEW before going away, but I think it makes sense for him to come back to WWE for one last run. He'll want to. I think he had a lot of bad PR at the last bit of AEW Ring of Honor by just taking up too much time, being in his 50s and whatnot. But he'll go back to WWE. He'll make some noise and he'll probably retire somewhat. But I've got a point here that I want to say. Only a few weeks ago, AEW ran a special episode of Dynamite, which is their flagship show. Every Wednesday, it's Thursdays afternoon here. You can watch it on Disney Plus via ESPN. They have Blood and Guts, which is essentially the exact same thing as
Survivor Series.
as War Games. And I might have to say AEW's Blood and Guts is a better than War Games if you want wrestling, proper wrestling.
I got told that as well. This
is not trying to be like a loyalist or whatever, or people. It's not, but people in wrestling some people get really attached to a certain promotion.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess, but like, you don't have to demean everything the other promotion does.
Yep.
You should only be so loyal to something.
It's good to have, like we've said on this before, it's good to have healthy competition.
It's good, but
we've said that.
But Blood and Guts, though, I've watched the women's Blood and Guts one, and comparing it to the women's War Games match from yesterday, it was very much AEW's been wrestling, and then WWE's been sports entertainment. The women at WWE and AEW were being busted open in the first 5 minutes. You know, the spots were like they were bringing in more, like the WWE weapons. They bring in like the chain and the bin and the kendo stick, and then AEW, it's like they take it up and up and up. Like there's like a barbed wire bat or something, and it's not even like extreme by any means. Extreme hardcore wrestling, it's a lot worse than that.
Yes,
but it's clearly more emphasis, I think, on like the in-ring wrestling as well. And that's not putting down what the women did or the men did in WWE yesterday. But I think very clearly for something which like the in-ring stuff, if it's more entertaining from the actual wrestling perspective, you watch AEW and they're starting there. They have a tournament every year called the Continental Classic where the winner becomes the Continental Champion. That started last week with, I think it was, I forgot what match it was, but you have some of their best wrestlers competing in it. It's, if you can catch it, it'll be a really good time.
I haven't watched
I'm
enough
gonna force
AEW.
you. At one stage, at one stage, you'll come over to my house, or I'll come over here when we're not recording, and I will put it on.
That's fine by me.
And I think because I know you will love it, it's just need to find the chance for you, because I don't even watch it regularly because I can't because of work.
Exactly. And for me, it's work as well. I'm never got now. When I was younger, I may have. But now I'm not going to hate on competition. And AEW's clearly proven to be really, really solid competition.
Oh, it's great competition, and you know they're not afraid to change it up a little bit more than WWE. I think Samoa Joe's their world champion now. And they've crowned some new champions in other divisions as well. But I think if you can watch both, and you'll find which one. I think WWE it's clearly one which is very much built over virality, over big viral moments which get big social media attention,
and kind of always has been.
AEW very much cares about what's in the ring and the overall long-term storyline. I think AEW do a brilliant job as well. I know WWE hit it off right with the Bloodline, but feels like it was almost a once-in-a-generation storyline for them to hit it off with the Bloodline as well as they did. But everything they were doing in NXT the second half of the last decade is very comparable to what's happening in AEW in some ways now. And I think that's why, give it a watch if you can. There's some great wrestlers on both sides.
Yeah, you know, like you talk about the wrestling side of AEW and stuff. The only thing I worry about is, of course, for the longevity of all their wrestlers. Because if you're going towards the more extreme, and that's what the audience is getting used to, that means you have to up it every single time.
But I think a lot of people aren't also tuning into AEW just for it to get more extreme. And I think because it doesn't happen all the time. But I think they have wrestlers, and that's just their shtick. Like, I don't want to say shtick, but they're going to get busted open more often. And
Darby Allin.
Oh, yeah. Well, Darby Allin's a freak. But WWE, they can't bust up as open. I know that. So I think if if there was more freedom in WWE, you'd see guys covered in claret all the time. I think the biggest... I think it was definitely claret in the men's War Games. But in the last year when CM Punk and Drew McIntyre faced off in Hell in a Cell, that was the most bloody WWE had gotten in a hot minute. And that was sensational.
Yeah.
And I think actually WWE lacked a feud like that this year. There was no feud as hate-filled and as entertaining in WWE in 2025 than CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in 2024. But that was brilliant, and it was always going to be hard to beat. But I feel like I'm rambling about this too much. Go watch both if you can. You know.
Yeah. Don't
take our opinions.
Don't be a hater. Go watch both.
Watch War Games and then watch Blood and Guts.
Open mind, see what happens,
and figure out which one you like.